right. I don't know if I'm going to title this. I don't know if I'm going to make this a series or if I'm going to have like this be a standalone podcast. But things that make me uncomfortable in every group of people, of every group of human beings, of every subculture that exists, does things that make me uncomfortable. I don't want to get on y'all too much, but it is really, really annoying. I mean, we all, it's a human thing. It's just we all do this. Every group of people does this to their own. I mean, it's down to the self-hating gays, the self-hating trans, the self-hating black people, the self-hating, you name it. Okay, since we're living in a world where I think it's funny to point out the hypocrisy of things, the absurdity in things, the ridiculousness of things, and also things that make me uncomfortable. So here we go. One thing that makes me uncomfortable is Latinos for Trump. I'll break this down. Latinos for Trump may quite possibly be the worst because there's so many things going on right now. Start off by saying this because this is important and I don't want this to get lost. Brown and black people or anybody in a small marginalized group is easy targets. You have people literally who created songs. You have people who created theme songs for his campaign. And I'll play it here. And these people were celebrating. They wanted him to win. Now these same people are getting rounded up by ICE. Their children are getting rounded up. Their husbands, their mothers, their doctors, our neighbors are getting rounded up because these people thought that they were impervious to his rule and to his ridicule, to his hate, to his racism. You thought you were to it. You thought you weren't going to get touched. But then, and now we have to deal with ICE, starting with the Latinos because it's an easy target, right? Obviously, you make all these gestures and make all these comments about how Asians and Latinos are this, that, and the other. Of course, you're going to plant that seed for people. You made yourself an easy target, and you voted for him, thinking you weren't going to be the one affected by it. Now, newsflash for not exclusively for the Latinos for Trump. This is for anybody who is black, Asian, Latino, gay, straight, bi, trans, young or old. Latinos for Trump. You are not white, okay? You're not white. No matter how much you appear to be so, no matter how much Spanish blood you have in you, you are not white, honey. You are not. And your proximity to whiteness that you think you have is making me see my fellow humans be rounded up by ICE and be rounded up and be harassed on the street, harmed in all kinds of ways because you think you're white, along with other races who aren't white who think they are. I want to share a story that recently happened to me. I was at this restaurant called Gusado's here in California. They have a couple of chains all over. And I like the food. It's really good. It's Latino owned and operated. It seems like everyone in there is brown. So I go there quite often to get food. And one day I went in there and I had something happened in my apartment where I had to leave because I had to step out of my apartment and I needed to because the Wi-Fi wasn't working. Something was, and I had to go to this Gusado's place down the street to. I had a therapy appointment that morning, so I had to do it over the Zoom. So I was like, where can I go that I could just set up shop really quick? I was like, oh, I'll just go here. This place that I literally always go to. I'll just buy a juice just to sit there, enjoy myself. I won't even buy food sometimes. Anyway. Very, very long story short, I'm sitting there. I'm literally 15 minutes until the end of my session. And this lady comes over, an older Latino woman comes over, and has a nasty, stank-ass attitude and tells me that I have to leave. And I was like, what? I'm finishing up this call. I was like, can I just, I'm always here all the time. I'm not clearly not causing a scene. I'm not doing any drugs. I'm not smoking. I'm not even loud. I'm just on my Zoom call for my therapy, which you would imagine is very, very peaceful interaction. So she's dismissing me and she's just giving a stink attitude. So I was like, okay, what the fuck? So I go inside and I was trying to tell these people hey guys, I'm literally on a therapy call. Can you give me a couple more minutes? And this is what pissed me off. They don't know me. I don't know them. But they called the security to come get me because I was taking too long. And this is what bothers me. Like I said, remember, I go there. I frequent there often. And I know that people have rules about not soliciting, loitering, if you will, right? But it comes to a point where you need to have discernment. If I don't think that highly of myself. I'm not that arrogant to think that they should remember me. The point in this is that if I'm sitting there literally physically on a call with, someone on a Zoom call, which may either be an interview for all you know or a therapy session, you felt the need to call security over there to interrupt the session, and then it just created a snowball effect. And I'm like, this is the problem with you people. And when I say you people, I don't mean Latinos. I mean, this is the problem with you people, you humans out there. We don't give each other grace. We just immediately assume the worst. I'm literally sitting here like, I'm a brown black person just like you are. You know what I mean? How many times do we have to like stand up for each other and fight for each other? How many times do I fight for you, right? I'm not even Latino at all. But I've been in many situations where I had to stand up for people who weren't like me, right? But I didn't get the same from them. And again, if it wasn't like I was like causing a scene or doing anything disruptive, because I could take ownership, right? Unlike you MAGA folks out there who can't take ownership of anything, everything is not your fault. I can say, hey, I caused this, and this is the result of this. For her to come over there with this nasty stink attitude and just like really make me feel like less than, I was like, well, that's what they're doing to you. It just makes it easier for people to perpetuate, So I'm really disappointed in Gusados, number one, for their staff calling the security on me. I'm disappointed in myself for losing my cool and like snapping on this elderly lady and the staff there, because I felt like they were targeting me for no reason. The big to-do was for no reason, all because Gusados employees didn't know how to come out and say, handle a situation, and they could have come out and say, hey, I'm sorry, we have a rule about this, whatever, what have you. But they didn't do that. So they chose to go the Karen route, which I think is ironic. So what really makes me uncomfortable is the group of you people, the finally someone is saying it tribes. You know who you are. Those of you who think because one person of a particular group that you honestly do not like says something disparaging about that group that you actually agree with. Let me give you some examples, because that might not be clear. Flame Monroe, Jesse Peterson, Blair White, Candace Owens, Christian Walker. If you don't know any of those people, which you should know at least one or two of them, Google them. Flame Monroe, Jesse Peterson, Blair White, Candace Owens, and Christian Walker. They're all part of a particular group, but they say things in front of people who are not in that group about their group. And then those people who are crazy and who are homophobic or racist, who are sexist, whatever the it is, they find, yeah, you're saying it. You're the one you are the, finally someone speaking up. And it's like, okay, well, you're all dummies. You're all idiots. And that doesn't get any of us anywhere, And also, too, I wanted to say this. I'm doing this episode particularly, or this series, to attempt to make this concept smaller. This type of conversation spans beyond this little podcast that I have. It even spans way beyond your homes and your little conversations at home. Also, to all of those and other people that make me uncomfortable, all those I ain't my ancestors types, which is, listen, I will say this. I agree 100% wholeheartedly with you about that. You folks are not Harriet, Rosa Parks, you're not Bayard Rustin. You're not MLK, you're not James Baldwin, you're not Sojourner, you're not Malcolm, you're not Booker T, and you're certainly not Marsha. So no, you're not. We have this convenience and this comfort of living here now in this time where we can say shit like that. Because most of us would not be down for the cause. Let's just be, you should be honest with yourselves about it. I think the way that we're living our lives now is indicative of how we would live our lives then, I like to think. And a lot of you people are not living that life that you claim. As a matter of fact, you're not doing anything about what's going on right now. You're letting most of you don't even know what's going on with your own government. That affects more than just you. So that's how I know you are not your ancestors. I recently posted on my page, I don't know how to say his name, this Xande, Zandy. I was essentially just saying how useless being homophobic is, which I obviously agree with. It's usually the stupid and hypocritical men out there preaching a bunch of fucking ignorance from the Bible or from God or whatever to make them not feel bad about their actual wants and likes and desires, right, etc. That's evident in Rashad and all those guys at the Hardly Initiated podcast who have these random guests on there who have so much to say about gay people, and it's like, well, you don't. This content makes you money. You don't have to talk about us at all. You really wouldn't have much. You wouldn't be able to feed your kids and pay your bills if you didn't talk about us. So I guess it's only fair that we have carte blanche to do the same. It's fun. Really enjoying. I'm not enjoying seeing the content because it's sad and it's like upsetting, but I'm enjoying making content to point out the obvious absurdity and hypocrisy in it all, because that is fun. Self-hating, you name it. This is how I look at it while I'm here. Until, if it ever stops, which I don't think it will, but until you guys stop pointing out things that make you uncomfortable about me, my people, my kind, then I'm gonna continue to point out things that make me uncomfortable about you. But good thing for me is that the things that make me uncomfortable about you is far more expansive, because there are far more of you than there are of me. So there was even this straight guy who I don't know his name. I'm gonna see if I can find his the clip with him, but he was talking about, and this shit sends me to the moons. And I know the straight men are not gonna like this because y'all are at pride. But he was essentially saying, and this is the straight man himself saying, that like how you only want the puss. You don't want anything else. You don't care about her feelings. You don't really want to be around her. You don't know how to compliment her.
His commentary right really here.
Something is deeply wrong with the heterosexual men. They hate women. They want the woman to cook for them, clean for them, have sex with them. But they don't want to respect them. They don't want to provide for them. They don't want to be loyal to them. And we can't say these men are gay undercover, because gay men are loyal to women. They love women. They compliment women. They're always around women, but something's deeply wrong with the conscious mind or the subconscious mind of the heterosexual man. And then you allow these women to have your children, and then you scream you hate them, and then you leave them, and then you don't provide for them, and then you get older, and then you go after a woman half your age, and then you break that woman, and then when she gets to the age around 29 to 35, you call her bitter and ran through because you chose a young woman. But you want these women to have your children, you want them to be 100% loyal to you, and then you start to complain about providing. And then you tell a woman she should meet me where I'm at. What the heck is wrong with you men? You men deep down in your subconscious mind have been programmed to hate women. And the bad part about it, your sons are learning not from what you say, but what you do. So the way you disrespected their mother, the only example of a man they had was you. Now they're breaking their women. And the cycle repeats. Who really benefits?
Want to believe that, or you will judge this man and say that he's what are the words you use? Simp, cuck, I don't know, whatever. Beta, these words are so dumb, but you use these words to describe him, who is pretty much saying he would like to see you treat women the way that they deserve to be treated. But again, you always do that. It's the same thing with, like, whenever I say, can someone please stop your pastors and preachers and uncles and cousins and fathers and husbands from, hurting your children and harassing them and sexually assaulting them. You want to cringe instead of stopping these people from doing it. It's the same thing. I get it, because it's uncomfortable. There's that word. It's an uncomfortable topic, but if you guys keep letting yourselves be comfortable with it, then it's going to keep happening. When you start being uncomfortable and talking about it, maybe you can reduce the chances of it happening again. Just start there. We're not even talking about legislative actions or marching. We're just talking about it, simply spreading the word about a particular group of people who we know are not good for any of us. But it's also attached to something that, I get it. It's deep within us. It's like politics or in religion. It's very deep in us, so it's hard to shake that. These I've noticed. I'm like, people are so like, they will sacrifice their own kids, everything they have, for like their religion or their politics, and I know it sounds hyperbolic, but it's not. Anyway, I wish us all the best, and I'm going to have some fun pointing out the hypocrisy and ridiculousness of how we're living.